All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hi, Nai.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We had some early birds on this evening. It's Normadel. Hi, Althea, Alicia. Welcome, guys. We are so happy to be back after our 2-week hiatus. Thank you for bearing with us, for your patience and understanding that we wanted to observe Ash Wednesday. And then last week, life happens, right? But we are back with a vengeance. We have an amazing guest tonight that I am extremely excited about.
Me
Um,
too.
yep. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are ready to emerge. We are here on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge. This is our sixth season.
Sixth season, episode 7.
Episode 7, season 6. So if you are joining us for the first time, you have 5 seasons to watch and the first 6 episodes of this season to catch up on.
You know
Um,
what's like at this is episode 7, and I know we're more streamlined now, so we know we do 10 episodes a season. But for our first season, I feel like we could have had more than 15 episodes
yes,
because we were just going and going and going. So there's a lot to watch in season 1.
Yep, and we've had some phenomenal guests. I mean, this season alone, we launched the season with Letitia. Last time we were together, we had a conversation with the three of us, the trio. So if some of you are wondering where is the third member of the trio, she'll be here joining us real soon. Um, but I am Kathy Goodall. For those of you that have never met us before, I am Kathy Goodall. I am a marketing strategist. I am a leadership and growth coach. I am a podcaster per Amy and a YouTuber. And I'm just really happy to be a part of the Emerge Trio and excited to be here with you guys today.
Awesome. So my name is Naomi Garrick. I am the CEO of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agency here in Kingston. And I'm also known as a PR chick, as a personal branding coach and trainer. And I'm excited to share with Emerge that I'm actually launching my second workbook on Monday.
Woo!
Got the proof last night. So this is
Yay!
it, guys. You guys get to see it first.
So listen, pause. So for those of you that don't have the first book, and Naomi can tell you, I gift that book to everybody. Everybody that I encounter, I gift it to, whether you care about your personal brand or not, because it puts your entire person into perspective. Not just how you view yourself, but how others view you and how we want to show up in life, whether it's in our careers or just our day to day. And so if you haven't gotten that book, I would recommend that all of you get it. I am nobody more excited than me about this book that is launching, right? And I told her, make sure you have my stash put down. If you miss my message, let me tell you now. Make sure my stash put down, and you know how that goes.
So here's a secret, guys, which nobody knows yet, but the book's actually available on Amazon as of last night. I got the notification this morning. So for those that are overseas in the US, you can actually access the book before everybody else.
I can get mine before I come home.
You actually can get yours in 2 days if you have Amazon Prime.
So I need to say nothing more.
So what you can do though is I'm having a live virtual launch for the workbook on Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can join. It's going to be lots of fun, lots of great speakers. I'm going to be doing some giveaways, and you're going to hear about the amazing online brand bundle that I put together just to go with the workbook. So you can.
Am I eligible for the giveaways?
Catherine, I feel like other people need an opportunity to win stuff, but yes.
I never won nothing from Garrick Communications or the PR chick before. I don't understand.
Yes, you'll be eligible as well. So what you can do, and Kathy, you can drop the link. It's just bit.ly/PO, but it's how you write it too.
I have it. I have it.
Yeah, so you can just click on that link and register for free. I saw Rochelle register a long time, so I'm very excited.
I registered.
And Catherine registered, and everybody else that registered already. Thank you. Very excited. So look out for PR Chicks Guide workbook number 2 coming on Monday.
And look at that, right on time as Naomi, our PR chick, introduced herself. We introduced the adrenaline rush to introduce herself.
I'm here. Wait, oh my thing.
Right on time as always.
I can't.
Hi, Rashi.
Where are we? I'm Rochelle Cameron.
Yes.
I'm Rochelle Cameron. I'm completely out of breath. It's a good thing I've been working out.
Hi, Rush.
Hi, Emergers. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be back with the team. This is just so absolutely awesome. Rochelle, I see you. Alicia, Auntie Marmadel, hey girl, and Althea. Hey, Rochelle. What am I again? So I'm daughter of Marcia Cameron, granddaughter of Esme Hyatt. I studied the profession law. So there are lots of parts of the day that I'm a lawyer, but I am CEO of Crutchie Consulting Services Limited, a firm that provides impactful legal, communications, and human resource strategies to help businesses unlock not just their potential, but their greatness.
Wow.
We got the Miss Universe, the Miss Jamaica version tonight.
I like that, Rashi.
So we also want to take the time to say big up to Sagicor for all the amazing things that you are doing. Don't remember that Sigma Run is on March 20th, which is this weekend. For those of you that have not signed up, it's for a great cause. It's for the Kingston Public Hospital, which we know serves all of us, regardless of whether we live in Montego Bay or Kingston, because that's the hospital we know is boss at trauma and all manner of other things.
It was so great to see the corporate bubble run that they did last Sunday, just to see people back on the road and because we know it's for a great cause as well. It was really, to me, it was just a signal that we are finally
reopening
back this space. So that was really great to see. So kudos to Sagicor for kickstarting the reopening of Jamaica.
Yeah, and it looks like, we really are opening back. The entertainment industry is reopening. Lots of things are exciting. Things are happening.
An unofficial opening of the entertainment industry last night.
Was it unofficial? I don't know. Lots of
I feel like it could have been the official because there were so many official people there.
Right.
But it's okay. We're back.
We're back to regularly scheduled programming. So guys, we always want to know where you're joining us from. Let us know. And then I am going to hand over to Rashi for our introduction.
Wait, can I say something first? Just because we're talking about Sagicor. So yesterday I had a visit with Brandon Ferguson from Sagicor. He has a new little office called the Investment Suite. And I really went to kind of just him. I brought him an orchid and, just to ask him a couple questions, but I ended up staying there for a whole hour talking about all
Ready to Emerge was
insurance. Yeah, and what I loved was when I walked into the office, there's this big screen on the wall, and he's just playing all of the Emerge episodes. So I was rewatching the Zachary episode, which I hadn't seen yet, and he's just like, "This is just a masterclass. I don't think you guys know what you have with this platform." And I was just like, "Whoa!" I was like, "That's us, guys." I felt very proud in the moment, I must say.
No, it was weird seeing the video of it.
And then they were just playing. So Zachary played, and then Alicia's played after, and I was just like, We did that.
Yeah,
we got Carrie from Queens, New York.
Hey, Carrie. Hey, Carrie.
Over to you, Rashi.
Okay. I'm gonna start this one right. I'm gonna start it right. On Old Hope Road, there is an institution that uses the color red to signify that red is strong. Because at that institution, they're strong in faith and work. It's an institution that's called Campion College.
Oh my Lord.
I'm like, where is she talking about? I thought it was like some new, I'm like, did Chrisanne open? I know she opened a new place on Hillcrest. So I'm like, does she have somewhere else?
I'm sorry, that went over our heads. It was totally lost on us. We'll come back. Wait,
You need to know about this institution. Great Jamaicans have emerged from this institution, Campion College. So just as Jamaicans come from Jamaica, and they're known as Jamaicans. When you go to Campion, you're known as a Campion Night. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, emergers all, we are joined by one of our finest Campionites. An institution that teaches about flexibility, versatility. But this lady, 18 hours of labor it took to bring her here, because you know what? She have to be specially molded and formed to emerge into this world. And yes, she studied medicine. She went to Campion. She studied medicine at the University of the West Indies. She is a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist. But that's not enough, because her versatility and her business acumen are such that not only is she providing the services to her patients, because she is a customer service maven. She says, not only do you get the service, but I also recognize that I have to provide some special products for you because I understand the woman's body. So she has to provide the woman's touch, the mom embrace. And she still goes back, and you say, but she's a doctor already. But yes, she does a PhD on top of all of this. Her name is Dr. Simpson Harley, and she is an exemplar of excellence. She's an exemplar of what versatility looks like. She's medical doctor, she's businesswoman, she's innovator, she's customer service maven. Ladies and gentlemen, just prepare to be amazed. And she is a Campionite by Dr. Simpson Harley.
You know, guys, I am keeping Rochelle. May I keep her? May I keep her?
Every week we hear that. Every week we hear that.
How is everybody today?
Welcome, Doc.
We have been looking forward to this episode.
Episode 7, God's perfect number. Yeah.
You see how Christian looks now? No, like just happy, smiling. This is her personality all the time. And it don't matter what time you end up calling her or talking to her, you're going to get the same energy, same concern. Just, this is Christian. This is Christian.
We need a service announcement. She has a patient that is waiting on her here, so we're praying that the patient doesn't actually go into labor during this show.
Oh my God.
So guys, so Christian, well, one, we're super excited to have you, and we have some questions we want to ask, but guys, I had to just share with you very quickly about even just my own experience with Christian. So I've been going to Christian for a couple of years now. I also consult with Dr. Sarah Lawrence as well. And for some of you that follow me on social media, you would have known that I recently did surgery to remove a submucosal fibroid. So that's a fibroid that's located inside the womb, which makes it challenging or difficult if you want to have children. But even more than that, it comes with a lot of heavy bleeding, a lot of cramps, and literally, I just was not functioning every month for the last 3 months. And in January, it was so out of control that I had to just message Christiana at like 9 o'clock in the night to tell her this is not working for me. And even at that hour of the night when Christiana probably wrapped up in her bed or she just finished with a patient, she was still able to give me the counsel and care and to calm me back down and to take action with the immediate next step. So by the following morning, I had a prescription. I could go and get what I needed to stop the period. And then she also referred me to a specialist that would be able to remove it. And she has followed up with me ever since. She has followed up with a surgeon to make sure that I'm well taken care of. Just to say all of that, just to say a little bit about her character and her personality. And even though she was not the consulting gynecologist on this case, she made sure that she followed through every step of the way, because I'm still her patient and friend and colleague, that I was okay. And so I just wanted to publicly say thank you so much, Christiane, for that.
No problem.
I'm in week 3 of recovery and I'm in such a better place right now. And I'm just really grateful that you were able to see what was happening very quickly and just move us forward. So, guys, if
No
you
problem, my
know
baby.
Chrisanne, you know Dr. Simpson Harley now. So, thank you.
No problem, babes, lad. You can't make me cry out my makeup and these things.
No, it's fine. This is actually this has become a cry show, you know. So, and yeah, so out there, I'm really happy I shared it too because I did get a lot of. That's another thing, and I know we'll talk about that more too. Is that we don't, as women, talk as much about just
Woman stuff.
problems or issues or just what's happening in our, or we call it problems, but this is just
Right.
women's things that happen to us. And so I got so many DMs and messages and calls about it, about people who have been either having a bad period or they have fibroids, but they're not sure what should be the next step. So a lot of other conversations came out of me just posting and sharing that I did this surgery. So, you know, I think I know we'll get that through that in the chat, but that it's so important for us as women to be able to share this kind of information very freely and openly because it's not something to hide and you can help somebody else and you don't even realize.
Yeah.
So one of the things we always like to start the show with, Chrisanne, is we want to learn a little bit about your journey. So we know about all the amazing things that you've done already, but like, how did we get here? Because, you know, people see the success, but they don't know what went into actually birthing the greatness that we're seeing. So I want to hear a little bit about even you moving from an A student to a D student, getting 27% to a 1 in CXC at one point in school, and then how that helped to shift you to becoming like a doctor. So I want to get an idea about just what was that journey like to become Dr. Chrisanne Simpson Harley?
Well, I think I might, you know, for a little period of time, break Rochelle's heart just a little bit. Rochelle, I know why. Let me tell you what. When it is that, so I always, you know, did well. I was always a reader in like prep school. My parents are teachers. So, I mean, if you're a teacher's kid, you know, them go hard with the kids at home. So, you know, my parents always encourage that kind of, you need to know what you want to do in life, what your career is. So, you know, I always had that in the back of my head. And then just my personality, like I knew from early that I wanted to do medicine because the first time I had to have surgery was when I was 6. They thought something cancerous was growing at the back of my throat. And, you know, I had to go through that experience. And I am the 6-year-old on the ward, going behind the doctors, you know, following them on ward rounds because it was cool. Like, no, I was not in pain. I was just interested in being a doctor and dressing up like one. And, you know, that started the journey. But when I went to high school, I started to, when I especially started to see my periods, I started to have like major challenges. Like just really bad periods constantly, every month going to the doctor, every month having to get an injection. I mean, really mess with me to the point where the nurse at school said, you know, the first and the second day of your period, don't even bother come to school. It was like really, right, it was really bad. But even outside of that, you know, when I went to Campion, my parents weren't rich. You know, they had just started a business and it was, you know, just growing. But, you know, I was one of the few students in the class that was taking the bus home. And what happens is that in certain schools, there is, you know, you have the cliques and you have this expectation. And if you don't have money, you know, you are excluded. And, you know, I experienced that. I experienced, you know, the verbal bullying and that kind of thing where, you know, you have people that have parties and you don't get invited because, you know, I'm Pentecostal. So, growing up, we don't wear pants in my house. You know, women don't wear pants in my house and stuff growing up. And I didn't have a TV. So things like that, you know, people would tease. And so over time, I became very self-conscious. So I was very confident in prep school. I was on school challenge quiz and then in high school just became completely different. Mm-hmm. And I find that when it is that mentally you are like a shadow of yourself, you just can't do well. So I fell from, being an A student and getting like, 98 and 99 averages to getting 70 averages in high school. Um, because, all of those things started to affect me, really badly. So, that's throughout high school, that pervasive, self-doubt, and all of that is something that I had to deal with. Became just I literally would say a shadow of myself. In fourth form when I got that 27% for math, I never forgot. I mean, my father was less than amused. I don't even think there's a word to describe how upset he was. Right.
Mhm.
And when he signed me up for extras and stuff. And I remember that my extra lesson teacher, who was Mr. Henry just revolutionized how I started to think about myself in terms of how well I could do. It's like the man said, it's like he put it in everybody's brain, like there's nothing you can do. Like you can do this. It's simple. You just have to focus, nothing about nobody else. Just you can do anything, and just made you feel like, oh my gosh, I can conquer the world. So that's when you have people like that now starting to input, positive messages into your life, and it now becomes a part of you. It helped me to do better approaching CXC. Unfortunately, I only had him for math. I mean, I should have had him for all the other 8 subjects, right? But when I did CXCs, I got 3 1s and 5 2s. That time, everybody, not everybody, but people getting the 8 1s, and in order to go to Campion 6th form, you have to get 8 1s and all of these things. Christian was not in that. Mm-mm. So, when I applied for, 6th form, Campion 6th form, I didn't get through. And, my parents were disappointed. And I could see the disappointment. But I have to tell you, like, my disappointment was brief. It sounds weird, but it's almost as if I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get like a new lease on life. That's how I felt at the end of that 5 years. Right? I mean, I had thrown myself into sports. I played football while I was a Campion. But it's like at the end of that, I didn't feel as bad. Like you think you should have feel bad that you never got into, especially if, as a high achiever. Like no, and I went to Arden, and the start difference was that you had like 3 people getting picked up and everybody else taking the bus. And everybody else walking to Tapestry, and I'm just like,
Oh my people.
oh my God, like I mean it. Oh my gosh, like when I talk about my tin mackerel and green banana, nobody was looking at me like, oh my God, I only think that's a cat. Like you talk about tin mackerel and green banana, and they're like, oh my God, I love that with pepper. Yes, these are my people.
Oh my gosh.
Then, all of a sudden, I just found myself because now I was around people who were, similar to me, and I felt like I, fit in. And then, trust me, I mean, once that happened, I became involved in everything, sports and clubs and still managed. So I started to find back myself. And then, when I did A levels, I mean, for me, A levels literally was like a breeze. Like I did it and I went going from 27% in math. I finished my math exam for A levels and had time to spare. Like I said to the lady, can I like leave? Like, no, seriously, like, yeah, like no issues, no problems, just because, I know had, people that made me just feel better. And then I just did better. And, when I got into medicine, I was still 17. And, at that age, like you're thinking, oh, this is what is supposed to happen. And then for everybody else, it's a big deal. But in my head, I already knew that this is what I wanted to do. So it came quite naturally. And going through medicine, you have the struggles and stuff. But once there's a natural, if you interact with me all the time, I love chat, I love talking to people, I love find out what go on. So just medicine is just an extension of that in my head, right? So going through medicine, it was just me doing that. So, medicine for me, even though you had the moments, it was where I said, this is what I was born to do. Like outside of probably something customer service oriented, which is what medicine is. If I was to leave medicine, I'd probably just go straight back into some customer service. Somewhere me have to deal with people and chat to people all day. That's my thing.
What's
Right?
funny, as you said that, Chrisanne, that it's customer service oriented.
Yeah.
Not all doctors are customer service oriented. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
very special.
no, the thing is, I don't understand though, because if you are going to manage problems that people are facing, you have to talk to the person. You have to empathize and understand and listen. And for me, I don't understand. I find it weird.
Right?
Yeah, listen, I've had the experience of I've gone to, one or two doctors where, I had like a bad experience. I had a bad experience at 15 actually. My endometriosis really started to kick in, but nobody recognized what it was at the time. And I was bleeding so badly to the point where my parents lived in Greenacres. And by the time I got to Portmore, which at that time you don't have a lot of traffic, so probably 15 minutes away, car seat soaked, clothes soaked. And I was 15. And I remember going into the doctor's office and he didn't even come in and say, "Hey, good evening. How are you? What's going on?" The nurse just said to him, "Oh, she's bleeding." And he said, "Put her on the bed." As if I was not there. He didn't even address my mother like, "Hi, ma'am. How are you?" Like, because my mother had to give the nurse the information, the nurse gave him the information and he just started. And he looked at me and said, when I lie down there, and he said, "I breathe, I breathe." And I am 15. I am not joking. I remember it to this day. I am not joking. And I looked at him like, "What are you even talking about? Like, me then at school, me not sexually active, all of these things." That is what he said to me. But I was in too much pain.
Do not want to ever go to another doctor again for anything.
I said to myself, because I knew what I wanted to do already. Anyway, and I said to myself, "I'm never going to be a doctor like this." That's what I said to myself. And every time I will find, because there are moments you get tired mentally, and there are moments that sometimes you do interact with clients or customers who, just make you warm, and you just have to hold on upon Jesus, because it's not everybody come in and they're like, "Hi, doc." Some of them, all of me are wait. All of me outside of me hungry. That time you are dead enough. You hungry. And I have to remind myself in those moments that, I'm saying sometimes people react like that because they're in pain emotionally, physically, they're worried about what they're going to hear. So I just keep reiterating and saying, I'm never going to be that doctor. Like in my head, he's always like stuck in my head as to who I am never becoming. Right. So, that just makes it, just easier to move forward. And then, as I said, vitamin Jesus, you hold on Jesus and say, the thing I don't know, that I ask him to reveal it to me, and, try and refer appropriately. But that is who I am. I can't think of doing anything else really.
Yeah, and it comes so naturally to you. I see Marvel marketing. I see in your comments, Marvel. So he says the Campion people gonna disown you. But we're not gonna disown you, because I want to tell you, say, I was a bus taker, mackerel and banana.
Right.
I was in Okie Hill when people are at the pool, and in Miami, I was
Right.
in Okie Hill at vacation Bible school. And I remember Mr. Henry so well. He was such an inspiration. But my mother was Mr. Henry. So she did tell me from early out. She said, as you go there, remember, say, we poor. One day, Sister B, with hard work, you will remove us from it. But currently, we're poor. I met them know from early. Mackerel and banana you eat. Are you proud of it? So
exactly.
But you know what? I love how you describe that part of the journey and losing yourself, but regaining yourself, and the importance that that one teacher could have to inspire you to that next level and finding your people. So the good
Yeah.
thing I found is that at my when I did go there 3 years ago, I did have a bunch of my people. And as you were talking, I was like, what happened is I had the three bus takers. We all just took it together.
They
No,
were good too, yeah.
yeah. You know, Christian, as you're speaking, and I'm hearing people just saying just how real you are and so on. And when you see when I say obstetrician and gynecologist, if you want me to turn fool, see me in a doctor's appointment. Like me
Oh,
don't have no sense. Me can't when they ask me what's wrong with me, me can't, me not so sure about it exactly. And it takes so much out of me because you're going into this place that you could get any kind of news, but the way
yeah.
that you approach medicine as a calling, as something, as your own ministry, I mean, it is, I have goose pimples. So, you know, as you were speaking, I thought to myself, you know, with women, because women have a little, and men, we understand you have issues too, but we have a lot of things dealing with. And we don't talk about things like periods,
Yeah.
worse after period done, menopause. We don't talk about miscarriages. We make
Mhm.
Instagram and pregnancy look like it's just one big ball of fun, fun, fun. Now, when your patients come in and you get a patient like me who, on the face of it, should be fairly intelligent, but I get into almost a fair space to even to speak to you, to tell you what's going on. I'm just kind of like, I researched this already, so I could tell you what to prescribe. What's that process like with your patient to just take us down like you get it. You get it.
So for when a patient comes into my office, the patient is a person first. So for example, if you walked into my office like with them earrings, the girl, and the first thing me I talk to you about,
You
you
know,
start
you
thinking like, yo, it needs you would have come out of my office and have to give me them earrings. That's a conversation where we are gonna have. Okay? I find that my ladies, when they come into the office, people make such an effort generally to just come into the doctor. So whether it's a bag, I'm a bag, I am fashion, like me love everything fashion. Me ask Jesus, please help me, Lord, and put in my pocket. No, like so I find out about the person, and I mean just to find out, how was your day, how was work, what's going on, and just have a normal conversation, you understand? And then you say, what keep, what make you reach a doctor, who about you, and then we just talk. So once you get into it's a normal conversation, it's me and you a girlfriend, and we are talk. If it's because we do see males at times, and if it's a man, same thing. It's a person. So, I definitely try and get that first, just we break the ice and we get it over and done with. Even like things with a pap smear. I will tell you, like I always joke with my patients, right? The pap smear, I joke with my patients and I say, girl, it's a man come up with this for stress we out, right? All of us will never forget about the pap smear. Forget, by the time I am joking with them about the pap smear done. Like I've had patients finish and I say, put on the clothes and everything, and they say, you're not going to do the pap smear. I say, girl, me do your pap smear already. Let's move on. Yeah, you just have a conversation. And then when patients are comfortable, you will really find out what's happening with them, because for some people, some of their issues are so emotional and they're just a smaller part that's physical. But the emotional has affected the physical so significantly. So if you're not listening to the person, you won't pick that up. So you can write a prescription from now till tomorrow. You ain't fixing them. You understand? So it's like as I say, I don't know how to do it differently. For me, this is how I think it should be. we're dealing with each other, and it's a girlfriend moment, and it's a what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas moment. And you taught the things them, I will taught the things them. I'ma sort you out, and if me can't sort you out, may I find somebody to sort you out. And if nobody can sort you out, well, may I go on my knees and Jesus have to sort you out. Right? So that's it.
Roshi.
Yeah.
Roshi, before you ask the next question, I have a question based on something that Doc just said. Doc, and this is out of pure ignorance, what would a man come to a gynecologist for?
No, so first of all, even though I did my PhD in gynecology, before I always did general practice. I actually never gave up general practice. So I was one of those crazy doctors that had been doing everything at the same time, because you still find interesting things in general practice. But other times you will find that a husband may come with a wife, and because of how you have handled his wife, him say him not go no other doctor, and him come see the gynecologist simply because of the interaction that you've had, which I'm fine with. Once me get him to say a doctor, me good with that, right? And I make sure, like if they have to do scans or whatever, I send to specific people that I know are like extensions of my care. So I'll never refer to somebody else who is going to be rooty or whatever. Trust me, I'm gonna ask you, right? I mean, if it is that I'm referring to somebody, it has to be somebody who not only is excellent at what they do, but have the same mindset in terms of patient care.
Yes. That's exact. When you said that extension of your care, that was exactly my experience with my referral from you to Dr. Taylor. It was I felt like I was in a safe space.
Yeah.
It's important.
But
it's important.
Speaking, one of the things, I mean, we are in International Women's Month. We still struggle as women with so many unsaid, unspoken of things. When Naomi mentions fibroids, then people start coming out and saying, I've had fibroids too.
Yeah.
When people have miscarriages, they find out like all of their siblings had miscarriages and they did not even know.
No.
Is it that causes what is our natural physiology, the things that happen to us? Why is everything so taboo? Like you've had to even tackle it with coming up with products for us, the right products for us. Why don't we talk about women's stuff? It's a lot of stuff.
Culture. You're always taught, and I think it's just ever since we had this conversation, I think last week, where it's down to biblically. If you look in the Bible, when a woman is in her period, she has to be away from the community. It's cultural. It's as old as time. And what we've found is that because of these cultural biases, a lot of women tend to not pick up that something is wrong with them until it's too late. And that has to change. Because, I mean, as a population, as a race, we're changing. The human race is changing. We can't stay in the same, mold where we don't talk about periods, and we don't talk about pap smear, and we don't talk about miscarriages. I mean, those days are over. I mean, I had a miscarriage, and every patient that comes into my office and that's having that experience, just me sharing my experiences with them makes it just a little easier for them to go through the process, because a lot of women blame themselves when something is going wrong, especially like when it's pregnancy related or infertility, things like that. When they hear that you have experienced some of these things, and I'm very open with my patients, I said to them, listen, you're not alone. If you feel like you just want to talk, I'm here. We can find resources, things like that. It just makes it easier for them to navigate what's happening to them, and for us to formulate like a plan. So patients are actually more likely to stick to the plan if they feel like you understand. If them feel like get it, they're more likely to doctor up. And then that becomes a problem because they take longer to get sorted out. And that is not going to work.
Can I mention something? So there's this new Disney animated film called Turning Red that's out. And the little girl turns into a red panda for various reasons, right? Her emotions and stuff. And one of the big debates about that show is because there's a conversation about periods in a Disney cartoon. And the mom comes in like she's like, I have pads, I have tampons, I have ibuprofen, I have like all these things. And some parents are like, oh my God, this is amazing because now my daughter is asking all these questions. Some dads were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever because now I understand. And also my 6-year-old is now asking me what's a pad and I can kind of have this conversation. But some parents were like, oh my God, like I can't believe they mentioned period and how could we be talking about these things on like a Disney cartoon? And I'm just like, oh my God, are we not in 2022? No, I want to watch
their kids not watching YouTube and are watching them. Like they're listen, our kids have been so exposed on YouTube, they know more than the parents think they know. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. So no, it's a conversation and the kids are going to get there. And the sooner they're aware, because we're having girls as early as 8 seeing a period. When it is that you're 8 and you're in grade 3 or 4 and having a period, you need even 2 people to maybe understand, not the whole class saying lad or what that or whatever. We need to make our kids aware from early. And I don't understand, like the world has sexualized everything also. Oh, they can know about sex and all forms of sex, but they can't know about period and all these things. That don't make no sense.
And the boys need to know too, because the boys will want their boyfriends or husbands or spouses or whatever.
Right.
The empathy and the emotional intelligence to understand what is happening.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important. And we have to be, the change, we have to be the change and talk about it. More forums like this make a huge difference. We'll have to get it out there. It has to get to the point where in my daughter's lifetime, like it's not even a thing to think that, period or vagina or whatever you're going to talk about, women's health related is even something that is taboo. That has got to, go the window.
And then on one hand, it's taboo, but on the other hand, everybody feels that they can talk about your womb, whether or not it's operational, whether it's when the womb done. Feel free to tell you that your eggs have dried up, or like, oh, I'm not picking it. I want to that kind of conversation. Rochelle says, "Happy Endometriosis Awareness Month," and when she when posted it, I stopped for a moment because I have a friend who suffers from bad endometriosis, and she said to me one time that she thinks she would get a lot more empathy if she had cancer, because she's like, people are like, endometriosis, you mean you have bad periods? I mean,
right.
how bad? And I never forgot that. She's like, nobody talks about it, and if you raise it, they're kind of like, take 2 pills. What you talk about? Come because you're having a bad period.
And that's if they even know what it is.
And that's if they just think it's a bad period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I was diagnosed with endometriosis at 19 and I started my period at 13. So it took 6 years for them to figure out what was happening, happening to me. And it would just be like, oh, the first day of our period, the nurse would just say, as I said, don't come to school or whatever. And I'd go to the doctor and the doctor would give me an injection. Like at no point in those 6 years did the doctor at the time say, maybe you need to go and do an ultrasound. I mean, it got to the point where my taxi man took me to your office to get an injection. Like my taxi man, like seriously. I mean, taking me home from school and I'm lying in the back of the car and the taxi man said, Lord, where your doctor there? And had to take me there. Yes, that bad. And I remember it was actually a male, friend that, was in my class, my medical class at the time. And, he was married and his wife had endometriosis. And, I came into the class and I could barely sit down. I was in so much pain. Like literally sitting on a chair was painful. And he said to me, Chrisanne, I realize that something is happening with you, and I think you may have endometriosis. He said, my wife's doctor, he is in the clinic or whatever, maybe you should go and see him. And when I went and saw, my doctor, in 3 days I was in surgery, right? And, can you imagine if if every woman potentially or girl going through something like that had somebody, some friend, colleague, mother, auntie, somebody who said, no, this not normal, painful periods not normal, you know. People think it's normal, you know, ain't not normal. If it is that it's affecting your activities of daily living, you can't go to school, you can't go to work, that is not normal. And we need everybody in our circle, colleagues, everybody to be aware, empathetic, and see if they can provide help and support. Like, have you been to your doctor? What the doctor say? If you don't want to pry, say, I'm here if you need me, or I have a good gynecologist or something, or my wife, or, you know, just say, you need painkillers, you have everything you need. Like, or how can I help? Just to even say that goes a far way for people. We have to get there. We have to get there. And we have to start. We have to train our girls and our boys from very early to recognize when people are in pain and have that empathy to reach out and see how they can help.
Yeah. I mean, allow Kathy to ask a question, because if my gynecologist is watching, she must be saying, oh, you so chatty. You can talk to that? Oh, you have so much question. Because you don't talk, you don't have nothing to say. You're like,
So, I think anybody that follows you knows that, and even just in our conversation, we know that you reference God a lot, and that He's clearly a very permanent part of your life. But when you talk about your experience with endometriosis, your inability in the beginning to get pregnant, and yeah, your inability in the beginning to get pregnant and your miscarriage. How do you manage to stay faithful and to stay grounded in your faith and to talk about Him so boldly through all of the experiences that you've had?
So I was raised in church. So my father is a bishop. My parents, you know, just instilled just a strong sense of knowing God for yourself. And when I was, you know, 16, when you're living in your parents' house and you're going to church and whatever, it's easier. When you know become an adult and have to face those challenges, it becomes a little harder. But at 16, that was a point where I really had a true experience with God that made me know for myself that God was real. It wasn't my parents' God, it was my God. So, and I have seen Him work in my life that, I mean, it is mind blowing. So, for example, my endometriosis, my struggle has made it better for me to communicate with others. That is God. I don't feel like just because I experience pain that God is a bad God. What I know is that God is sovereign. Him have a plan, and that is being planned, and I am the human being. I never met myself and Him met me, so He must know what He must do. That is what I have in my head, and I have to and I hold on that He's sovereign, and He knows, you know, what's best for me. And, you know, I've seen so many, I mean, if I were to really start talking about Jesus, girl, we would have died a whole night, tomorrow, next week. No, because it's what it is. Just my journey in terms of when I started my practice, for example, I was finishing up my PhD and I opened my practice. I got $800,000 as a gratuity from the university. And the Lord was able to stretch that $800,000 that I was able to set up my practice. When I tell people that and they saw the scope of what I had set up, they said to me, that's impossible. And I said to them, no, I said, that's Jesus. I had somebody that was selling out his practice, and he literally said to me, he had everything, beds, instruments, everything. And he said to me, you know, somebody said, oh, this guy's selling out. And I called the guy and I said, you know, how much are you selling the stuff for? And the guy said to me, how much money do you have? And at the time I had $110,000. Yes, no, me tell you, I had $110,000 Jamaican dollars. And the guy said, okay, give me that and take everything. No, me tell you about Jesus.
I have to unmute.
No, I'm covered in goosebumps.
I got gynae beds. I got regular beds. I got oxygen cylinders. Me, when Mr. Me get everything, me literally got everything. Everything. The only thing I didn't have when I was setting up, there was a final stage where I hadn't bought like the AC units. And I said, oh God, where am I going to get this from? And I remember going to my gynecologist, like I pick him up all the time because he's also a mentor, Dr. Vernon Da Costa. And I said, he said, hey, Christian, how is it going? Just supportive. Just was never, like, oh, yeah, set up practice. You're going to be my, what you call it, competition. Never like that, just supportive. And he said, what's going on? And I said, okay, well, we're finishing up, we just have the ACs to do, I'm going to try and get a loan at the bank. And he said, oh, you have to get a loan, you just finished, you don't, like, I never had a full-time job, I was planning to just go into the practice. And he said, and how much money are you going to need? And I said, boy, I need about $300,000 at the time. And the man pulled out his checkbook and wrote me a check.
Jesus.
Wrote me a check. And I said to him, I said, Dr. Da Costa, I'm going to pay you back. He said, listen, you've already paid me back. And I said, this man do my surgery them for free. This man take care of me. He mentor me, through the program. I said, what do you talk about? When I talk about the Lord, people don't understand the things that I've seen. Even with my miscarriage, I was driving home. So I was pregnant, excited about the pregnancy. It already took me long to get pregnant, excited. And I'm driving home and I heard a voice say to me, and sometimes we think it's our mind saying something to us. May I tell you, it's not your mind. The voice said to me, what would you do if you had a miscarriage? And my answer, I said, what am I going to do? Like, I'm driving it. I'm like, I answered, I said, what am I going to do? Just have to deal with it. But you don't take it seriously. So I drive home, reach home, I'm fine. I'm not having pain or anything. And I wake up the next morning and I'm bleeding.
Wow.
And I said, oh my God. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning. My husband left for work already. And I picked up the phone and I called a radiologist. Very wonderful guy. So me call him at 7 o'clock in the morning. The man should even pick up his phone. And he answered, and I said to him, I said, Doc, I'm bleeding, whatever. And he said, come right now. And the man leave him house at 7 o'clock and scan me. And he said, boy, I'm not seeing anything. He should see a baby, him just seeing a sack and whatever. And I said, okay. I said to myself, as a gynecologist, maybe just a little early and he's not picking up whatever. And my birthday is the following day. So the next day, I said to myself, let me just not stay home. Let me go to work because I need to keep distracted and not think about this thing. And I'm sitting in my office and I start bleeding. And the bleeding came without like notice. It's not like I was having pain or anything. Like the bleeding came like a freight train. And God, the patient that I was seeing at the time was a midwife.
Wow.
Was a midwife. And I stopped and leaned over and she said, what happened? And I said, I'm bleeding. And she said, is it period? And I said, no, I'm pregnant. And she, I don't know what, she grabbed me up, she wrapped me, and she went out like she went into boss mode. Like my staff, you need to call another doctor, we need to call our husband, put her to lie down, got me to my doctor. And all of these moments, even though I was experiencing something that was so horrible, God put what we call destiny helpers at every step of the way. So even when you're going through that difficult moment, there is somebody that is there that is helping you. And it's a lesson. It's not that God is hating on you or don't love you. Sometimes what he needs is to put an experience in your life to help you to make a difference in 100 other people's lives. It's just that because we're seeing just us, we're not seeing what his plan is, but his plan is his plan. And I have learned to just accept his plan. I've been through like backstabbing moments, drama. I said to somebody, I've gotten stabbed so many times in my back. My bottom is still going twap. Okay, let's just put that out there. Especially when you're building a business. And like sometimes I say to God, I say, God, you don't see them people who never stress me out or tea from me or like why you make me have to deal with people? And you know, the other day, like he he dropped a word in my spirit. I mean, as he said, how are you going to build $1 billion business if you don't know the pitfalls to look out for? I'm saying, all right, Lord, ready for business. Okay, bring it on, but just give me the grace to deal with some of these situations. You understand? So, all of these things have just, made me just stronger in faith. I have to hold on to him because I've seen his hand in my life. Even when it was difficult, I've seen his hand in my life and in the lives of so many others that I can't discount it. He's the reason why I am what I am and why I'm here. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
Yo, hey, you show off him, man. Why?
Yes, proper.
So before we get into our best advice segment, we cannot let you go without you telling us about the $1 billion businesses. So you need to talk to us about your $1 billion businesses, and I want you to also tell us what are some of the things that you need to that you would advise us to put in place to be able to manage all of the things that you do and to
Right.
do it well.
So the first thing I would say is be faithful to God. Because without that, you're going to find that there are pitfalls that are meant for you. That if it is that you don't have that coverage, you're going to fall into a lot more pitfalls, right? You need that guidance. He sees what you can't see. He see the heart of people. He see the bank where you're supposed to go to. I mean, he sees all of that. So being faithful and having a relationship with God is number one. Number two, tithing is key. People forget Jesus in 10%. Him forgetting money is not yours. When you get your salary, you put on him 10% and you give him 10%. Right? It's
Minimum.
designed portion. It is really important. I believe that 150%. Tithing is key. And I'll talk about that from now till tomorrow. Right? Choosing the right people, which sometimes can be challenging because somebody may seem like the right person. So, you have to pray about the choices you make in terms of the people that you're going to do business with, the people that you're going to employ. And yes, you will have people that, as I said, they come into your business and they come into your space and then they turn out to be something else. But sometimes it's just a lesson that you need to learn. So, for example, I learned a really big lesson in terms of putting things on paper. So I would just be that handshake, me and your friend. You said this, me said this. And my heart is saying, okay, we agree. Your heart is saying, watch me and you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to put things on paper. When you're building a business, even if the person is your friend, do a contract and make the person sign to a legal contract. Put everything down on paper. And just write. When ideas come to your mind, whether you're up on the toilet, whether you're in the middle of exercise, if you have to stop, make notes. Because a lot of times God is like downloading things into our spirit, It might drop ideas, it might give the side hustle. Listen, Ecclesiastes are 7 or 8 streams of income. Ecclesiastes talk about, right? How much una gone? Like, think about it, right? And he has this plan for us. He wants us to prosper. But sometimes when him talk, we're too busy on social media, everything else. So listen, we need to stop and listen to the voice of the Lord and listen to some of these things because he's dropping ideas and you say to yourself, no, that now work. Or you go and you talk about it too soon and people dissuade you. Oh, that is the next thing. You don't need to tell all the people your business. Like, be like Elizabeth, she pregnant and she not tell nobody. Right? You have to keep some things in your spirit and start to build it out before you open your mouth and talk about it. Because I had somebody say to me, a next pod, we are doing a next pod. And I could have been discouraged because of the person who said it to me. And I said, no, Jesus dropped this in my spirit and may I run with it. Right. And that has gotten me to this point. Right. So you just have to, spend time, write it down, do your devotions. And when you hear the little ideas, put it down, because those little ideas can become revolutionary and life changing. And always keep your circle like, you don't need a huge circle. You need acquaintances are fine. But when it come on to friend pool, make sure it's people that are on the same trajectory with you, have the same mindset. If you can pray and you are struggle, that person can pray for you. That person can speak into your life. That person, if something come with your kids or whatever, that are probably the first person. You need like a one or two people like that in your life. And if you feel like you don't have that now, you ask the Lord to provide it for you, because He gives good gifts. I mean, when I look at my husband, boy, and give me a good up one, you see, man. Husband, Mr. Mark Harley. No, I'm telling you. I mean, I prayed for my husband and I gave God a list. Yeah, man, my audacious and bright. I give God a list because I had my heart broken, a few times, and I was just over it. So I said to God, I said, the first thing that was on the list, me need a man who love you. Because I said, I figure if him love you, him not gonna know how to love me. Amen. Right? And that was on the very top of my list. And the fact that he must make me laugh. I literally didn't ask God for a man who I look good, but Jesus know me. Yay. Him know me. So, gave me that. But just the fact that, my husband who loves the Lord, the fact when I'm so busy, he's not thinking, Lord Jesus, always at work. No, him pick up the slack, the kids gone to school, and him know teachers, him pick up and drop off, breakfast, so he's really helping to make my journey in terms of business and thing easier, because he's handling that aspect of it without me having to be a superwoman, because there is no such thing. The superwoman thing, it does not exist. So you need, that helper. Yeah, because it becomes difficult, especially when you do have children. So, it's things like that I would encourage, anybody to, look at those points and see how best they can incorporate it into their lives, just to make it, better in terms of growth, in terms of your business and so on.
You still not tell us about the billion-dollar business.
$1 billion woman's touch business. Marsha is going to kill me. So, woman's touch. So, woman's touch really was born out of me having a problem. The fact that I was using products that I would constantly get irritated, like constantly. After every period, my shave, the napkins would have this weird odor that I hated. I mean, all of those things. And I was seeing patients having this exact same issue, or they would complain about the constant overflow of the pad. And as Caribbean women, we have heavier periods. Yeah. So a lot of these products aren't formulated for the rest of us. Like, they're formulated for somebody who don't look like me, who's having maybe like a 3-day period.
Question: why do Caribbean women have heavier periods?
It's never been really investigated, because guess what? That investigation, so companies that can afford to do that investigation, they're not owned by anybody that looks like us.
Is that our penalty for living in the Caribbean, like with the sea and stuff? Like, that's our tax. We have heavy periods.
No, but it's not just the Caribbean, but it's Black women, Indian women. So one purpose is that because we have, so look at our propensity for fibroids. So fibroids are masses. So they're fibrous masses that grow in the muscle of the uterus. If you think, not every woman will have those big fibroids, but they'll have tiny patches that require more blood flow. And if you're having those patches, you're just going to bleed heavier. And then over time, you find that, a lot of the patients, up to 70%, develop fibroids by the time they're in their 40s. So that is like one theory that I personally have, but I don't think it's not been investigated. So for example, in medical school, we are taught that the average woman should have no more than, I think it's like 8 mil blood loss. So this is 600 mils. What they're saying is that for your entire period, your blood loss should be less than this. Like, which Jamaican woman that?
Right.
Okay, in life, never. You're having women with this in one pad.
Yeah.
When I explained, like when I was creating the pad and explaining why I was making the pad the way I was in terms of doing the formulation, the lady said to me, "No, that's too much absorbency, Mr. Lady. And that me need." That mean, like they're saying this don't make sense. And I'm just like, yeah, because you're making pads for those of us that, so we are changing like multitudes of pad. No, we need something that is super absorbent because we just bleed heavier. So that's how Woman's Touch was born. I had a problem. Other women had a problem, and I know that the Lord just put it in my spirit and say, "Are you mega use to help fix that problem?" So every aspect of areas that I find that's missing in terms of women's health is where my mindset is at to fix those problems, right? Or create solutions to those problems that other people are just not looking at. And once you do that and women are accepting of that, then I mean people have responded so well to the product. I mean,
I would say even just this week, I ran out of my panty liners, my Woman's Touch panty liners, and I had to resort to another brand that I already had. And let me tell you something, that same day I had to go back and get a pack because I was like, oh my God, I forgot what this was like.
difference. Yeah, literally feel the difference.
The
Yeah,
texture,
because
everything, I started to feel almost like a little irritated immediately. And I was like, no, sir. No.
science. And that's the thing. A lot of these companies have discounted science. So what is happening is that, for example, one of the very popular brands, the top layer, the chemical that is used in the top layer that it has been tested is the same chemical that people use in woodwork. No, I'm sorry. My parts is not doing no woodworking down in there. So I need something that is breathable and comfortable and allows for airflow and is decreasing infection. No. I mean, tested, tested and proven and studied have shown that they're using chemicals in these products. And what you'll find is that sometimes you use those products and you bleed even heavier because it creates so much inflammation. Anywhere there's inflammation, you're going to have more bleeding. So a lot of people know where Woman's Touch and they recognize the difference. Yeah, just because, and it's science. It's literal science.
Immediate. Like, I was just like,
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what?
I was like, what is happening here? I was like, nope. Let's go to the pharmacy because we're not doing this.
And we're the tip of the iceberg. I mean, trust me, if I were to show you like a book of like all the things that I am going to create, page. The next page.
But for those who don't know, Woman's Touch also recently launched a wash.
Right, the feminine wash. Yeah.
It's awesome, guys. Just saying.
So, all natural.
All the products, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're
you have to go for natural. Women need natural. You don't need harsh soaps. And a lot of these, like feminine washes and stuff on the market, they have a lot of what we call surfactants, which are just irritants. They have the fragrances. You don't need the fragrances and stuff. You just need the science, something that is helping with your pH balance, so you're not getting recurrent infections. You have something that's natural, that's cleansing at the same time, but you have something that the science of it is making you healthier. And that is what, every single product, that's the aim for every single product.
Yeah. Listen, it's game changer. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So on behalf of all the women in Jamaica and the Caribbean and the diaspora that will be using your products and soon the world, we thank you, Dr.
Let me tell you, I see Sanya Goff on. And Sanya said, this is an excellent session. Dr. Harley is my new doctor. Woman's Touch is the best thing. And she also mentioned that she has stage 4 endo and she could not manage without woman's touch pad.
Wow.
Let me tell you something, Chrisanne, as you talk, so that's my mother calling because she doesn't realize we're still on. Because when she watched the show tomorrow and call me in a meeting to tell me when she come to Jamaica, she don't know what do her, but she going to doctor Chrisanne. And I said to myself, look on this little pygmy from Green Acres, Mr. and Mrs. Hartley, nice little daughter.
Simpson.
Sorry. I say, you know, when your parents look at this woman that you are and the woman that you are further becoming, I'm just like, your parents must be like blown away at what God can do.
Oh no, hold on. So my parents are sufficiently, so no matter how you go on, like whatever, like they look at you like you're still and they're unimpressed, like you can do more, you can do more. You can do more. I'm just like, what? Like my father is going to say, okay, did you join the Zoom meeting for church? And I'm just like, I'm on a webinar, but you have to make time for church. Okay, Daddy, I'm going to go back and do. Yes. Like they're proud, but at the same time unimpressed.
Yeah, girl. Because you have church later.
Unimpressed.
It's like when I go in the supermarket, when I go in the supermarket or I go in the pharmacy, there is something that even though when as you were talking, I just got teary because I'm just like, wow, this is a Jamaican woman, born bred here, educated here, who has not just sat down and recognized an issue. Like you've decided you're going to do something about it. And you create an international product. So when you're on the show, I'm like, guys, do you understand how, I mean, wow.
Yeah, and they just recently signed a distribution deal with Derman Trading. So now they have increased their expansion, and you know, Derman has a location based in New York as well. So this now exposes woman's touch to the diaspora.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of big things happening.
It is.
Yeah.
No, but I think that it's like, you know, because what you talked earlier is just all the things that you. Is my internet is?
Yes, Rashi.
Weird. No, but you know what? We're gonna talk about Jesus, and that's what the enemy are trying to come in. No, not today, not today. You know, when I think about what you said earlier, you know, when somebody plants a seed in your head of how great you can be, but you take that seed and you're fertilizing it with the word, and knowing that God is your foundation, your pillar, every cement, every block of what is building. And I know tonight people are hearing this story, and when they hear what Dr. DaCosta did, and they're like, is this real? Like maybe we could have tried a God there. We could have even just give him a little one prayer and say, hey, remember that thing that we may struggle with? Help. Chrisanne, this has been, I mean, this for me, may I tell you, tonight. God bless.
No, thanks so much. I just want
Before we let you go, though,
yeah.
we have a segment called Best Advice that
Right.
we need to get from you. So, Nye.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the best advice segment, and this is where we ask you best advice that you would give or you have received about a particular topic. And for you, of course, we're gonna start with the best advice about health.
Best advice, get rest. That is definitely something that I've always struggled with. So for example, I used to have you know, all my patients had, you know, my WhatsApp, and I was getting like upwards of 700 messages a day.
Wow.
And yes, like Kim Kardashian, you know, serious business. And my girlfriend took my phone and she just literally deleted it off my phone. Like I lost everything. And she just said, you're not resting, because I was answering at 2 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so rest is one of it's the foundation. So I'll talk to you about eating healthy and all of these things, but girl, me love food and me still a work on that, right? But so rest, taking that time, to spend time with yourself and spend time with God is really important. I mean, if you look at Jesus in the Bible, he would just take away himself from his disciples and thing, and just go on going up the mountain and wherever him go, and just take that time away. So it's really important for us to do that we can hear ourselves. And sometimes it's in those moments we get our best ideas, So, rest is really important. Yeah.
Best advice about love.
Love yourself first.
Mm.
A lot of people I find you're looking for love outside when realistically you need to love you 120%. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself, as yourself. So you have to love yourself, love every aspect of yourself. Check out yourself. I mean, you just need to be the best version of you, carve that best version of you. And then, if it is that the Lord is going to send somebody in your life, you're ready and prepared for that person, right? And both of you can contribute to each other properly. When it is that you are looking for somebody to complete you, you're going to have major issues. Love yourself first. Thanks.
Best advice about relationships.
Number one, I would say pray about it, and go into it slowly. A lot of people rush into intimacy, especially women, and intimacy clouds your judgment, so you're not objective. When you go into it too fast, especially as women, we become it's very few women that cannot be emotional and view a relationship objectively. The rest of it, oh my God, turn full fast. Like you feel the love and the love bubble up and you're done for. And then what happens is that you don't get a chance to really see the other person for who they may be. Look at their friends. Look at, because birds of a feather flock together. If his friends are going to bar and party and have 50 women or whatever, these are the people he's getting advice from, and vice versa. Okay? So, you want to make sure that you go slowly, establish a friendship. Look at the little things that they do. It's not the big things. It's not, oh, you give me flowers and all of these things. It's the thing that I'm on my period and I can pick up the phone. I remember, my husband, greatest thing. I was able to say to him, babes, because I came to his house, my period came, and he went to the supermarket and got a pack of pads. And it never even dent him. Like went and I was in pain and him get hot water bottle. I never had a hot water bottle before then. And he fill up the hot water bottle and he happened to have one at home because he had back issues. And he sent me home with the hot water bottle and said, you need to keep this. And say, what you went about this pain? Like that was his concern. It wasn't, anything else.
Yeah.
The little things that show who that person really is. And it's when you are at your lowest. My husband proposed when I had dengue. I didn't look like mashed up crackers. Okay? Mashed up crackers. My appetite, and he brought a box of food. And there was a little box in the box of food, and I thought it was like, because I'm a sweet tooth, so I thought it was cake. So I ignored the food, and I go for what thing I thought was a cake. And there was the ring. I couldn't even cry properly the way I did mash up. My husband had alcoholic wine, like his excitement. And I'm just like, brother, I just need 2 Panadol. No, I tell people this, and people think it's a serious business. Like he was just there saying, we need to make sure say, all right, but if they're just ready for propose. So, if somebody can see you at your lowest and love you wholeheartedly, you're good to go.
Last question.
What advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
Ditch the boyfriend I had at the time.
Valid advice. Advice.
Yeah.
I think that would be it, but save a little more. Even though my mother was very aggressive in terms of us saving, I think I spent more money on foolishness than I really should have. I would have had more money put down if I was more financially prudent. So
Yeah.
if I wasn't into buying 10 shoes and going to extras, how much time for buy an outfit every time I needed to go out? Right. Just being definitely more financially prudent. Put saving is everything. Buying real estate from early, oh my gosh, key. You don't need to go every restaurant or home, every party or keep you don't need to do that. You need to aggressively save when you're young and get insurance and them things when you're young. So when you get to my age, you're not gonna work so hard. Just saying. You work a little less.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I mean, Rochelle
Rochelle?
always says, you know, at the end of a show, sometimes that it's a masterclass, but this was beyond.
The comments are coming in, you know, an amazing session, extraordinary and real.
Yeah, man, this was.
Yeah, and earlier, Sonia also asked, how do we make contact with
Yeah,
Dr.
people want to make, you want people, you got new clients, Doc. You got some new clients. How do they reach you?
Okay, so Instagram. So at Dr. Christian Simpson Harley on Instagram. Even if they reach out to at Get Woman's Touch on IG, Marsha is always on that. West Trade Medical as well. If they go on West Trade Medical's IG, they can set appointments for them. And my number, the number that they can call for appointments is 383-5352. So they can call and set an appointment and for the different offices, and yeah, they can reach me that way.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, if you enjoyed Dr. Simpson Harley's session with us in Emerge today, please let her know in the comments. We know this was an amazing session. Wow, Christian. I mean, we are honored that you took the time. We know you have a patient in the wings. Thank God labor didn't happen while we were here. We would have understood, but I mean, we're so grateful just for the time and just for your passion to this space, and then for also providing us women with alternatives to taking care of our bodies, something that's just natural, for us. So we're just really, really grateful, and we thank you so much for being a part of Ready to Emerge, Detour Essentials Live. Looking forward to seeing.
Thank you for having me. Make you like celebrity. When you make
Celebrity. You're a celebrity.
Guys, the people you've had on your show hear me. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. We know you have hospitals to go to, so we're going to release you.
Guys, there are a lot of comments coming in right now.
Yes. And just
Instagram followers and things.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that Emergers, when you watch this, nobody mean with the episode and keep it to yourself. Share. Because tonight we talk about period. We talked about women's bodies. We talk about women's bodies as if there was something to put one side, a taboo subject. We talked about our bodies as they are very real and the issues that we go through. And Christian, Alicia said it, I'm just in awe.
Yeah.
And one thing if there's anybody in HR, in different companies, sort of set up that almost like encourage like policies where women can, they have these group sessions or something where women can reach out if they're having challenges, that women can help each other. I mean, can you imagine if whether it's a small company, big company that had these little cell groups it would create a huge difference, man. Trust me, a lot of women would get help sooner. Even sitting down and you're not talking, but somebody else is talking. Exactly. So, I would love for HR, HR departments to definitely have things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Doc, thank you so much. So we're going to bid you adieu and allow you to get to your patients that are eagerly awaiting you. But thank you so much. Thank you for blessing us. And we return that blessing to you. We cover you. We know that everything that you touch turns to gold because you are covered, and we continue to just bless you and to pray over you and to supporting everything that you do. But we're
Thank
grateful
you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Christiana.
much,
We love
guys.
you.
Wow.
This was great.
Wow.
You see, when she
Wow.
touch on the rest, hear me not like that's my corn right there.
Why she tried Jukwe?
No,
The
I was like, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's not rest. Rest. What's rest? What? Wow. Yeah.
We'll leave you with that, guys. Just wow.
Wow. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us. Follow. Oh, wait. We cannot leave without telling you that we do have our workshop on April 30th. So look out on our platforms for more information. We got so excited today. I won't see you guys and being back that we forgot. So April 30th, look out for more information. We are going to have it live and of course broadcasted online. So just follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge. Email us if you need to at Ready to Emerge now. We look out for, if you haven't signed up already, sign up for the launch on March.
Oh, and is that me?
Yes.
Oh, so guys, new workbook. I showed it earlier.
March 21st?
Huh?
March 21st?
Yes, on Monday at 7 o'clock. You can visit me on Instagram and click the link in my bio. It's going to be really fun and exciting. And
At the PR Chick, for those of you that don't know.
Yes, at the PR Chick. But we're going to have some great speakers, and we're going to be talking about all the ways that you can maximize this growing online space with your personal brand.
So have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be blessed, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday, for another great interview. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.